So he will focus on
Yeah,
how to
so
design orthographic query, lemma-based, POS-based, or based on annotations and using CQLs.
yeah, so now will be here, yes, tomorrow, I think.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you have any plans
What?
to visit the UK at all?
Not really. I don't know. It depends on whether I will be funded by the university. So university is on tight budget, so it's quite hard to get funding these days. Okay.
Well, if you do ever sort of find a way, let us know. Niall,
Sure.
I saw him just last week. We're at a conference together, or 2 weeks ago was it now? He's at Manchester, but he used to be in Coventry.
Mm.
Yeah, and then Robbie is obviously in Birmingham. But yeah, we're sort of all just kind of within like hour and a half, 2 hours from each other. So if you ever come, you
Yeah.
can see all of us.
Yeah. Okay. What time is it in UK now? I think it's 8:30 something, right?
8:40. I had completely
8:40.
mistaken time difference.
Okay. Yeah. It's not too early, isn't it?
No, I thought it was 8 a.m. My time, which is why initially when I said that I can probably come in later because I thought it was 7:30 my time. Um it's just completely my fault. But
Yeah, sometimes when daylight saving time, it can turn to 5 hours, but it's typically just 6 hours difference
hmm,
between Jakarta and London. Mm.
yeah, seven hours isn't so bad. So
Yeah. Mm.
should be okay.
Yeah,
How
yeah,
many
it will be.
participants are we expecting?
So we have 119 registered participants from 14 countries.
Hmm.
Yeah, and this is the second time we conduct this summer course.
And is it
Yeah,
available to the public or do they have to sign up?
it's available for public and it's free.
Okay.
So university support of in terms of funding to have this conference. So actually, there are some other programs from our universities. We can also invite professors, lecturers to do it on site. But typically, we invite professors from just around us, like Australia. Yes, UK is quite far, so I just check. It's the round trip tickets is quite expensive.
Yeah, it's quite, especially
Yeah.
around this time of the year, right?
Yes, indeed. Okay. Right. So I see that we have already some participants in the Zoom session. Yeah. Our dean is also here, but yeah, we are going to start at 1400. Okay. So Joyce, we are going to share some promotional videos. Yeah. So I hope that that's all right with you. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want to say something, just shout. Okay.
Okay, I'll
No
do
worries.
that.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and participants from around the globe, good morning and welcome to the Diponegoro Summer Course on Corpus Linguistics, Dipscorling 2024. We are thrilled to have you join us for this exciting and enriching event. This summer course offers a unique opportunity for scholars, researchers, and students to delve into the fascinating world of corpus linguistics. Dipscorling 2024 features an exceptional lineup of keynote speakers, each a luminary in the field of corpus linguistics. We are honoured to welcome Dr. Joyce Lim from Aston University, UK. Dr. Lim's groundbreaking work in discourse analysis and corpus linguistics has significantly advanced our understanding of language use in various contexts. Her insights and research contributions are invaluable to our community. Dr. Niall Curry from Manchester Metropolitan University, UK. Dr. Curry's expertise in language teaching and learning, combined with his innovative approach to corpus-based research, has made substantial impacts on the field. We eagerly anticipate his perspectives on the latest trends and applications in corpus linguistics. Yede Primahadi Wijaya Rajek, PhD from Oxford University, UK, and Udayana University, Indonesia. Dr. Primahadi's interdisciplinary research, bridging cognitive linguistics and corpus studies, offers a profound understanding of language patterns and cognitive processes. His work is a testament to the power of corpus linguistics in unraveling the complexities of human language. Prihantoro, PhD from Diponegoro University, Indonesia. As a prominent figure in the Indonesian linguistic community, Dr. Prihantoro's research on Indonesian language corpora and sociolinguistics provides crucial insights into language variation and use in Indonesia. His contributions have been instrumental in advancing corpus-based studies in the region. This year's summer course has attracted more than 100 participants from diverse corners of the world, including the UK, USA, Egypt, China, Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, Poland, and many more. This international representation underscores the global relevance and appeal of corpus linguistics. Your presence here is a testament to the vibrant and dynamic nature of our field. Throughout the course, you will engage in workshops, lectures, and collaborative projects designed to deepen your understanding and application of corpus linguistic methods. Our goal is to create an environment that fosters learning, innovation, and collaboration, paving the way for new discoveries and advancements in our field. We are confident that Dipscorling 2024 will be a memorable and transformative experience for all participants. We encourage you to take full advantage of the opportunities presented, network with fellow participants and speakers, and immerse yourself in the stimulating academic atmosphere. Once again, welcome to Dipscorling 2024. Let us embark on this journey of exploration and discovery together. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and participants from around the globe, good morning and welcome to the Diponegoro Summer Course on Corpus Linguistics, Dipscorling 2024. We are thrilled to have you join us for this exciting and enriching event. This summer course offers a unique opportunity for scholars, researchers, and students to delve into the fascinating world of corpus linguistics. Dipscorling 2024 features an exceptional lineup of keynote speakers, each a luminary in the field of corpus linguistics. We are honoured to welcome Dr. Joyce Lim from Aston University, UK. Dr. Lim's groundbreaking work in discourse analysis and corpus linguistics has significantly advanced our understanding of language use in various contexts. Her insights and research contributions are invaluable to our community. Dr. Niall Curry from Manchester Metropolitan University, UK. Dr. Curry's expertise in language teaching and learning, combined with his innovative approach to corpus-based research, has made substantial impacts on the field. We eagerly anticipate his perspectives on the latest trends and applications in corpus linguistics. Yede Primahadi Wijaya Rajek, PhD from Oxford University, UK, and Udayana University, Indonesia. Dr. Primahadi's interdisciplinary research, bridging cognitive linguistics and corpus studies, offers a profound understanding of language patterns and cognitive processes. His work is a testament to the power of corpus linguistics in unraveling the complexities of human language. Prihantoro, PhD from Diponegoro University, Indonesia. As a prominent figure in the Indonesian linguistic community, Dr. Prihantoro's research on Indonesian language corpora and sociolinguistics provides crucial insights into language variation and use in Indonesia. His contributions have been instrumental in advancing corpus-based studies in the region. This year's summer course has attracted more than 100 participants from diverse corners of the world, including the UK, USA, Egypt, China, Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, Poland, and many more. This international representation underscores the global relevance and appeal of corpus linguistics. Your presence here is a testament to the vibrant and dynamic nature of our field. Throughout the course, you will engage in workshops, lectures, and collaborative projects designed to deepen your understanding and application of corpus linguistic methods. Our goal is to create an environment that fosters learning, innovation, and collaboration, paving the way for new discoveries and advancements in our field. We are confident that Dipscorling 2024 will be a memorable and transformative experience for all participants. We encourage you to take full advantage of the opportunities presented, network with fellow participants and speakers, and immerse yourself in the stimulating academic atmosphere. Once again, welcome to Dipscorling 2024. Let us embark on this journey of exploration and discovery together. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and participants from around the globe, good morning and welcome to the Diponegoro Summer Course on Corpus Linguistics, Dipscorling 2024. We are thrilled to have you join us for this exciting and enriching event. This summer course offers a unique opportunity for scholars, researchers, and students to delve into the fascinating world of corpus linguistics. Dipscorling 2024 features an exceptional lineup of keynote speakers, each a luminary in the field of corpus linguistics. We are honoured to welcome Dr. Joyce Lim from Aston University, UK. Dr. Lim's groundbreaking work in discourse analysis and corpus linguistics has significantly advanced our understanding of language use in various contexts. Her insights and research contributions are invaluable to our community. Dr. Niall Curry from Manchester Metropolitan University, UK. Dr. Curry's expertise in language teaching and learning, combined with his innovative approach to corpus-based research, has made substantial impacts on the field. We eagerly anticipate his perspectives on the latest trends and applications in corpus linguistics. Yede Primahadi Wijaya Rajek, PhD from Oxford University, UK, and Udayana University, Indonesia. Dr. Primahadi's interdisciplinary research, bridging cognitive linguistics and corpus studies, offers a profound understanding of language patterns and cognitive processes. His work is a testament to the power of corpus linguistics in unraveling the complexities of human language. Prihantoro, PhD from Diponegoro University, Indonesia. As a prominent figure in the Indonesian linguistic community, Dr. Prihantoro's research on Indonesian language corpora and sociolinguistics provides crucial insights into language variation and use in Indonesia. His contributions have been instrumental in advancing corpus-based studies in the region. This year's summer course has attracted more than 100 participants from diverse corners of the world, including the UK, USA, Egypt, China, Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, Poland, and many more. This international representation underscores the global relevance and appeal of corpus linguistics. Your presence here is a testament to the vibrant and dynamic nature of our field. Throughout the course, you will engage in workshops, lectures, and collaborative projects designed to deepen your understanding and application of corpus linguistic methods. Our goal is to create an environment that fosters learning, innovation, and collaboration, paving the way for new discoveries and advancements in our field. We are confident that Dipscorling 2024 will be a memorable and transformative experience for all participants. We encourage you to take full advantage of the opportunities presented, network with fellow participants and speakers, and immerse yourself in the stimulating academic atmosphere. Once again, welcome to Dipscorling 2024. Let us embark on this journey of exploration and discovery together. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and participants from around the globe, good morning and welcome to the Diponegoro Summer Course on Corpus Linguistics, Dipscorling 2024. We are thrilled to have you join us for this exciting and enriching event. This summer course offers a unique opportunity for scholars, researchers, and students to delve into the fascinating world of corpus linguistics. Dipscorling 2024 features an exceptional lineup of keynote speakers, each a luminary in the field of corpus linguistics. We are honoured to welcome Dr. Joyce Lim from Aston University, UK. Dr. Lim's groundbreaking work in discourse analysis and corpus linguistics has significantly advanced our understanding of language use in various contexts. Her insights and research contributions are invaluable to our community. Dr. Niall Curry from Manchester Metropolitan University, UK. Dr. Curry's expertise in language teaching and learning, combined with his innovative approach to corpus-based research, has made substantial impacts on the field. We eagerly anticipate his perspectives on the latest trends and applications in corpus linguistics. Yede Primahadi Wijaya Rajek, PhD from Oxford University, UK, and Udayana University, Indonesia. Dr. Primahadi's interdisciplinary research, bridging cognitive linguistics and corpus studies, offers a profound understanding of language patterns and cognitive processes. His work is a testament to the power of corpus linguistics in unraveling the complexities of human language. Prihantoro, PhD from Diponegoro University, Indonesia. As a prominent figure in the Indonesian linguistic community, Dr. Prihantoro's research on Indonesian language corpora and sociolinguistics provides crucial insights into language variation and use in Indonesia. His contributions have been instrumental in advancing corpus-based studies in the region. This year's summer course has attracted more than 100 participants from diverse corners of the world, including the UK, USA, Egypt, China, Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, Poland, and many more. This international representation underscores the global relevance and appeal of corpus linguistics. Your presence here is a testament to the vibrant and dynamic nature of our field. Throughout the course, you will engage in workshops, lectures, and collaborative projects designed to deepen your understanding and application of corpus linguistic methods. Our goal is to create an environment that fosters learning, innovation, and collaboration, paving the way for new discoveries and advancements in our field. We are confident that Dipscorling 2024 will be a memorable and transformative experience for all participants. We encourage you to take full advantage of the opportunities presented, network with fellow participants and speakers, and immerse yourself in the stimulating academic atmosphere. Once again, welcome to Dipscorling 2024. Let us embark on this journey of exploration and discovery together. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and participants from around the globe, good morning and welcome to the Diponegoro Summer Course on Corpus Linguistics, Dipscorling 2024. We are thrilled to have you join us for this exciting and enriching event. This summer course offers a unique opportunity for scholars, researchers, and students to delve into the fascinating world of corpus linguistics. Dipscorling 2024 features an exceptional lineup of keynote speakers, each a luminary in the field of corpus linguistics. We are honoured to welcome Dr. Joyce Lim from Aston University, UK. Dr. Lim's groundbreaking work in discourse analysis and corpus linguistics has significantly advanced our understanding of language use in various contexts. Her insights and research contributions are invaluable to our community. Dr. Niall Curry from Manchester Metropolitan University, UK. Dr. Curry's expertise in language teaching and learning, combined with his innovative approach to corpus-based research, has made substantial impacts on the field. We eagerly anticipate his perspectives on the latest trends and applications in corpus linguistics. Day Primahadi Wijaya Rajek, PhD from Oxford University, UK, and Udayana University, Indonesia. Dr. Primahadi's interdisciplinary research, bridging cognitive linguistics and corpus studies, offers a profound understanding of language patterns and cognitive processes. His work is a testament to the power of corpus linguistics in unraveling the complexities of human language. Prihantoro, PhD from Diponegoro University, Indonesia. As a prominent figure in the Indonesian linguistic community, Dr. Prihantoro's research on Indonesian language corpora and sociolinguistics provides crucial insights into language variation and use in Indonesia. His contributions have been instrumental in advancing corpus-based studies in the region. This year's summer course has attracted more than 100 participants from diverse corners of the world, including the UK, USA, Egypt, China, Malaysia, Indonesia, the Philippines, Poland, and many more. This international representation underscores the global relevance and appeal of corpus linguistics. Your presence here is a testament to the vibrant and dynamic nature of our field. Throughout the course, you will engage in workshops, lectures, and collaborative projects designed to deepen your understanding and application of corpus linguistic methods. Our goal is to create an environment that fosters learning, innovation, and collaboration, paving the way for new discoveries and advancements in our field. We are confident that Dipscorling 2024 will be a memorable and transformative experience for all participants. We encourage you to take full advantage of the opportunities presented, network with fellow participants and speakers, and immerse yourself in the stimulating academic atmosphere. Once again, welcome to Dipscorling 2024. Let us embark on this journey of exploration and discovery together. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, and participants from around the globe, good morning and welcome to the Diponegoro Summer Course on Corpus Linguistics, Dipscorling 2024. We are thrilled to have you join us for this exciting and enriching event. This summer course offers a unique opportunity for scholars, researchers, and students to delve into the fascinating world.
Hello everyone. Welcome to Dipscorling 2024, a summer course on corpus linguistics brought to you by English Department of Universitas Diponegoro, one of the leading public universities in Indonesia. Dipscorling has brought together international students and scholars from more than 30 countries across the globe. We thank you for your interest in participating in this event. My name is Arin.
And I am Julian. We will be your host for today's sessions. Today's program will consist of 3 sessions: an opening remark, a course overview, and the core summer course session entitled Introduction to Corpus Linguistic and Corpus Query Systems. But before we dive into the sessions, we'd like to invite you to listen or to join us singing the national anthem of Indonesia.
Thank you very much, everyone. Now let's start our first session, an opening remark by the Dean of the Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Diponegoro, Professor Dr. Alamsyah. Prof. Alamsyah, how are you today?
Okay, fine,
Over
thank
to
you,
All right.
Hilyan and Arin. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My voice is clear?
Yes, clear.
Okay, clear. Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Excellencies, the honorable speakers, Dr. Joyce Lim from Aston University, and then Dr. Niall Curry from Manchester Metropolitan University, and then Prihantoro PhD from Universitas Diponegoro, and Gede Primahadi Wijaya Rajek PhD from University of Oxford and Universitas Udayana, and then the head of linguistic department, Dr. Oktiva Hari Chandra, and secretary, Dr. Catur, distinguished participant, ladies and gentlemen. esteemed guests and participants of Diponegoro summer course in Corpus Linguistic, it is with great pleasure and enthusiasm that I welcome you to this distinguished event. Over the next few days, we embark on a journey through the intricate world of corpus linguistic, exploring its methodologies, application, and significance in contemporary research and education. As we gather here at Diponegoro University, renowned for its commitment to academic excellence and innovation, this summer course promises not only to broaden our understanding, but also to inspire new avenue of inquiry and linguistic analysis. I encourage each of you to embrace this opportunity fully, engaging in insightful discussion, collaborative learning, and working connection that will extend beyond these walls. Together, let us delve deep into the realm of language through the lens of corpus linguistic, enriching our knowledge and advancing our shared pursuit of scholarly excellence. Once again, welcome to Diponegoro summer course in corpus linguistic. May our time together be enlightening, productive, and filled with discovery. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi. Thank you very much, Professor Alamsyah, for your warm opening remark. Before going through the next agenda, we invite you to take a picture together. Can you all please open your camera?
Right, we will take a memorable picture together. So if everyone can open their camera, our committee will take the picture. All right, please stand by for a few seconds, everyone. Yes. The first slide, done. All right, the second slide. Right, and then the third slide. Okay. All right, slide 4. And then slide 5. All right. That is all. Thank you very much, everyone. Next, we'll go on to the next session. Let's listen to the overall course structure presented by Mr. Prihantoro, PhD, an Associate Professor of Corpus Linguistics from Universitas Diponegoro. Over to you, Mr. Prihantoro.
Thank you very much. You hear me all right? Okay, thank you very much. Sorry for the technical issue. I'm going to describe the curriculum of the summer course, which is a little bit different from 2023 Dipscorling. In the first session today, Joycelyn will introduce corpus linguistics and sketch engine. So this is the corpus core system that we are going to use in Dipscorling 2024. Last year we used CKB Web, okay? And all the participants have been notified to prepare an active account of sketch engine to be used throughout the summer course. Participants will explore this tool, gaining insight into corpus analysis methods essential for linguistic research and application. On the second day, Niall Curry will lead the corpus query techniques session. He will introduce various corpus query techniques using simple search and corpus query language search, and participants will learn how to use these techniques to search corpora based on orthography, annotations like lemma, part of speech, XML annotations, among many others, or their combinations. And on the third day, Gede Primahadi will introduce frequency list and concordances. These two are vital tools in corpus linguistics. Participants will learn how to utilize these resources effectively for analyzing language patterns and context. The session promises practical insights into linguistic research methodologies and applications. Again, on this, participants will learn how words tend to co-occur, how they tend to associate one each other, revealing semantic, syntactic, and lexical grammar relationships. This session offers practical techniques for exploring linguistic patterns and meanings within corpora. On the fifth day, Niall Curry will deliver a special lecture on Diponegoro summer course in corpus linguistics. The attendees can expect an insightful examination of the topic, offering valuable insights into the implementation of corpus techniques in applied research. And in the last day, or day 6, so this is a new session which was absent in the last year Dipscorling, Joyce Lim will lead the idea panel session, providing feedback on participants' selected corpus research plans submitted earlier. So we received a large number of submissions for research plans. Due to time limitations, the committee have selected a number of research plans to be given feedback during the summer course. Attendees can anticipate constructive guidance from their expertise in corpus linguistics, enhancing their understanding and refining their search methodologies. So that would be all. So I'm sure you can't wait to hear the session from Dr. Joyce Lim. So I'll return this to the host of today's Dipscorling. Over to you, host.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prihantoro, for the presentation of the course structure. And everyone, we will shortly begin.
Dr. Joyce Lim is a lecturer in English Language and Applied Linguistics at the College of Business and Social Sciences, Aston University. She holds a Bachelor of Arts in English Literature from University of California, San Diego, and MA in English Education from Hankook University of Foreign Studies, and a PhD in Education from the University of Cambridge. Her research interests focus on second language education and corpus linguistics, particularly the use of learner corpora to explore language patterns and classroom applications. She is the co-director of the Aston Corpus Linguistic Research Group and oversees doctoral research in areas such as CALL and L2 writing development.
And everyone, if you want to know more about Dr. Joyce Lim, please consult her CV. And note that we will be distributing our online attendance list during the session via Zoom chat box, so make sure you look out for that. And now for the session we all have been waiting for, let me hand you over to Dr. Joyce Lim. Hello, Dr. Lim. How are you today?
Hi, good. Thank you so much for the nice introduction and also for the invite. Let me share my screen.
Yes, of course. It's very nice to see you, Dr. Lim, and you may start your session anytime you're ready.
Okay, cool. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Totally.
All right, so welcome everyone to our first session on Introduction to Corpus Linguistics and Corpus Query Systems. I'm going to be talking for the first half of the session about sort of what corpus linguistics is, and then the second session on sketch engine and all the good stuff. So I'll begin with sort of a definition of a corpus, which many of you may already be familiar with. So the word corpus comes from the Latin word corpus, which means body. So in a way, you can see a corpus as a body of text. And we'll look at all of this later on. But a corpus is essentially a large collection of real-life language data, typically spoken or written. And generally, when you put together a corpus, you do it with sort of a particular purpose in mind, sort of in line with your research. And you want to make sure that your corpus is sort of a representation of the language or the text type that you're interested in looking at. It is usually stored in electronic form, and then you can analyze it using software, which we'll look at today. And just to give you an example of what a corpus sort of looks like. So here, when we search the word hand, you get this list, this concordance of the word hand and some words to the right and then some words to the left. And as you can see, the word hand is used in multiple ways within this sort of text. So we have hand luggage, and then we have things like hand over, when you hand over something to another person, and then hand used in all sorts of different forms and different part of speech. So we can use a corpus to sort of investigate how words and expressions are used within the text. So when you look at just the word hand, you see just a list of words, right? But if you look at it in context, you then know that the word hand is actually used in a ton of different ways. So a corpus linguistics is essentially a study of language based on examples of real-life language use. So we sort of look at things like how language is used by a certain community of people, certain era, by certain groups of people. And essentially what corpus linguistics does is it seeks to answer two fundamental research questions that I came up with. So what particular patterns are associated with lexical or grammatical features? And how do these patterns differ within varieties and registers? So in short, corpus linguists are interested in patterns. We're really interested in how language is sort of used and what sort of patterns we see within the language that's being used by the people. And it's really what we do, right? We look at things like what is being most said by certain people and certain demographics, and how do these patterns change over time? How do they differ between different contexts? So we use corpus or corpora for plural to access quantitative information about language. Like here, we're interested in large amounts of information or data. And from there, we're really interested in looking at the sort of the how and the why that supports sort of the qualitative analysis bits of it. So we tap into insight into language usage from corpus analysis. And because we sort of derive our findings from a large amount of information or data, our findings are generalizable, given that your corpus is a representation of the community that we're interested in. And using corpus data can help us to acknowledge how language is really used, right? So instead of saying, I think people back in the day used to say words like this or words like that, we can actually find what words or expressions were used in certain period if we have the data. So corpora allows large amounts of text to be considered, and it allows us to answer questions such as, what is the most often talked about in this context? What attitudes are expressed or implied? And how are texts structured? And we'll look at some of the ways in which we can find this information on Sketch Engine on the second half of this talk. So what can we do with the corpus? I'm going to go over a few sort of the basic things here, and then we'll look more into how you can go about doing conducting these analyses yourself on Sketch Engine. So we can look at frequency. So for example, we have the change frequency of the word choice in a corpus party of political manifestos between 1945 and 2010. And you can see we have the Conservatives, Labour, and Liberal Party, and you can see how the word choice shifted through from 1945 to 2010. So by looking at the frequency, the number of occurrences of certain word or expressions in the corpus, we can sort of tap into how certain words are used, or how the usage of certain words change over time. And it's really useful for investigating how the occurrence of a particular phrases that we already think might be interesting, but you're actually tapping into how they're being used in the corpus that you have. And you can also use it to investigate the change of words across different times or contexts or different genres or texts. We can also look into collocations, which shows words that appear most frequently within a certain distance of the search term. And don't worry if this doesn't make a lot of sense to you right now. We'll look into this later on. But this allows you to find which words co-occur with other words in a corpus. So if you look at the word here, process, and when you search it, you get all of these words that collocate, that sort of go together with the word process. So maybe the process of learning, or chemical process of something. And you can sort of see which sort of words collocate with one another. We can also conduct keyword analysis, which is useful for sort of discovering the statistically significant words in a corpus. So essentially a list of keywords are those words in the corpus that occur more or less frequently than they do in a reference corpus. And for those of you who don't know what a reference corpus is, a reference corpus is a corpus that you use to compare against the corpus that you have compiled. So for instance, if you want to compare how the use of certain words in a corpus you created of English learners of English, or English learners use certain words differently from native speakers of English, you can sort of compare your corpus against a reference corpus, which would be the native speaker corpus. And you can look at some of the differences in which words or expressions are most or least frequently used. So for example here, to sort of give you a better view of what this means, say that we have two corpus, or two corpa, one restaurant A and two restaurant B, and we're comparing how certain words are used differently between these two corpa, so these two restaurants. So in the keyword analysis of restaurant reviews, we look at the first restaurant, which has words like delicious, friendly staff, clean, fast service, and reasonable prices, which tend to occur most frequently. And then restaurant B, we have words like long wait lines, cold food, poor services, which occur more frequently than restaurant A. So based on these findings, we can then deduce that perhaps for restaurant A, they offer better food, their staff are friendly, perhaps their service is a lot better. Whereas restaurant B, long wait lines, cold foods, poor service, doesn't necessarily make it seem like a restaurant that we would want to go sit and eat at, right? Concordance analysis is also a really useful tool. So this is sort of the hand example that I showed you earlier on. And it's really useful for carrying out sort of a closer analysis of your keywords. Once you have your frequency list of certain words or expressions that are most frequently used by learners or in your corpus, and you want to see how these words are used. And individual words don't really say much about their usage, right? So you can see that maybe perhaps beautiful was the most frequently used word in your corpus. And you look at the concordance lines, which then gives you more information about how the word beautiful is used in the context, right? So this doesn't give you all of the words to the right and to the left. You can click on it. So I'll show you later on Sketch Engine, how you can see the full text. But one neat thing about this is that you can see, sort of get a better understanding of how the word beautiful is used for this instance in your corpus. So just to sort of give you an idea, right? Most beautiful and interesting in the world, beautiful north, beautiful country, beautiful area, beautiful photos, right? These are all describing things that are beautiful. And I only have the first screen here, but then perhaps there might be some other uses of beautiful or collocations or expressions that are sort of different from how the word beautiful is used in the other concordance lines. So this is sort of a general kind of an overview of some of the cool things that you can do with a corpus. And I am going to sort of talk about some of the practical kind of research areas, which uses techniques or corpus linguistics. So lexicography, which are the most frequent words and phrases, for example, are in a particular language or in domains, so keyword analysis. So how do these words and phrases vary across different registers, genres, and time periods? And how are new words and meanings introduced into a language? We can also look into language variation and change. So for example, how does language use vary across different geographic regions? So this is a great sort of a way to tap into things like dialects or how different people in different geographical regions use words differently. Social groups, for example, time periods, different generations. So what are the linguistic features that distinguish different varieties or dialects, and how does language change over time? So if you compile a corpus of, say, news articles from 1970 and then 80, 90, and then going on so forth, you'll probably be able to see some changes in how certain words are used. So for example, if you collect a set of articles from 2020 to 2022, for example, you can imagine you'll probably see a lot of words related to COVID, wearing masks, and things like that. And that tells us a lot about what was going on during that time. And when you compare it against, say, a set of news articles from 2024, you can imagine that there would be some difference between some of the words that are most frequent in 2020 versus now. Discourse analysis, so how do patterns of language use shape discourse in different contexts? What are the typical linguistic features of specific genres? So for example, news articles, academic papers, and social media posts. So if any of you guys are English teachers, you're interested in, say, teaching academic English, you can compile a corpus of, say, academic writing samples, and from there you can conduct all sorts of different corpus analysis to find the most frequently used words and expressions, and that could be helpful for your students. And also, how does language contribute to the construction of meaning and power relations in discourse? So the meaning of words in discourse. Discourse analysis is sort of a huge area in corpus linguistics. Pragmatics, so how do speakers use language to convey meaning beyond the literal interpretation of words? So looking at concordance lines, we see how words are used in the context. So rather than seeing the frequency list, which is just a list of words, when you look into sort of how these words are used, you can sort of gain a better understanding of how some words are used to portray a certain message, for example, how they're used beyond literal interpretations, so idioms, meanings that are sort of deeper than just the word in itself. So what are the patterns of politeness? So how do people show politeness? Is it through individual words? Or is it through sort of the way they present certain information? Indirectness. So how do you portray indirect kind of hints at people, right? So a lot of the times you sort of understand what people are trying to say without actually hearing those words. You sort of deduce meaning based on their sort of the way they talk. So you can tap into things like that with a corpus. Speech acts in different types of discourse. How does context influence the interpretation of utterances? So how do I understand things differently from you guys and your teachers and so forth? Corpus linguistic has huge contribution in second language acquisition. So for some of the things that I've mentioned, where you look at a list of words and expressions that could be helpful for your students, students can also use a corpus to understand how certain words are used. So when you give your students a list of words for them to learn, learning what these individual words mean is one thing, but being able to use it in their own writing and speaking is another challenge. So corpus can be a really great way for your students to be able to develop more independent learning skills, and to be able to understand how different words and expressions are used in context. We can also use a corpus to understand some of the common errors made by second language learners. We can also look into how their proficiency level affect their use of different linguistic features. So if you have a corpus of some beginner learners, intermediate learners, and advanced learners, you can compare how their linguistic features change over time. And you can also tap into how their use of first language influences their acquisition of second language. Some examples of application. Marketing, for example, corpus linguistics can perhaps be used to analyze sort of customer reviews, social media mentions, to sort of gauge into public sentiment towards a brand or product. You can look at the frequency list for some positive or negative words, sort of like the restaurant comparison that I showed you a bit earlier. And then the marketers can better understand sort of what aspects of their brand products people love or hate. In the field of law, in legal context, for example, corpus linguistics can help to decode the most sort of often convoluted language or contracts or legislations. So lawyers may analyze the frequency and context of specific terms to interpret ambiguities and identify any inconsistencies. So forensic linguistics is a big area that uses corpus linguistics. Healthcare, for example, providers can use corpus linguistics to mine patient records, recurring terms and phrases to help identify trends in their symptoms, treatment effectiveness, side effects, and all of that. In journalism, journalists can use corpus linguistics to identify media bias. They can use it to analyze the adjectives, for example, or frames used when discussing a particular event or individual words. For example, studying the use of terms like terrorists versus freedom fighters in various sort of news outlets. Political science. Corpus linguistics can also be used to analyze political speeches and manifestos to see if there are any sort of recurring themes, policy focus, or targeted audience based on their language use. So how is the language being used differently by different political leaders or in different occasions? We can also look into things like even human resources, right? To filter through different resumes to identify keywords, most relevant candidates for a job, for example, a good way to sort of sort out different participants or the candidates. And the environmental science, researchers can use corpus linguistics to analyze social media, blogs, opinion articles, sort of as a way to understand public sentiment. and knowledge gaps concerning climate change, for example. And here are some popular tools that I have personally used. And there are a ton of other tools as well. So please don't rely on this only as sort of what's available for you. There are hundreds of different tools. So if you go to Clarence, so this is a good website to go to sort of see what sort of tools are out there. The CQP web at Lancaster is a really good tool. English Corpora, Sketch Engine, which is what we're going to be looking at today, and then WMatrix. So these are browser-based tools, which are tools that you'll have access to online. And then you can also, if you prefer to work offline, you can download software such as nconc, Linksbox, Wordsmith tools, which I won't have the time to go over, but you can certainly look these up yourself and sort of browse around. But these are all tools which you can download onto your computer or your laptop and access it whenever you would like. So some points to consider when putting together a corpus. So a lot of the times, if you don't use what's already available, so there are publicly available corpora, for example, the British National Corpus, which is what we're going to be using today. There's the American version of BNC, COCA, corpus, the Contemporary Corpus, which is also a megacorpus, and they contain all sorts of different texts, from news articles to books and so forth. However, when you have your set of research questions, you might want to put together your own corpus. So my research is mostly in second language education, and I'm interested in how learners develop over time. So I would then create a corpus of learners of English, and I would perhaps track how their language differs. So I would maybe compile a corpus at the beginning of the course, and then perhaps at the end of the course, and then compare how their use of language differ. So to do that, I have to create my own. I won't be able to do so with either BNC or COCA, because those aren't necessarily catered towards English learners. In the same way, as you work through your summer school this week, you will come across occasions where you might want to put together a corpus of your own. So some things to consider: how representative is the corpus you're compiling? So if I'm interested in all of the English learners in my university, then I want to make sure that the corpus that I have represents the demographics of my university. So we have students from all different countries, perhaps a different language proficiency level. So if my corpus is of 10 students who speak very good English, that's not a representation of our university, because we have a diverse group of students. So when you compile your corpus, you want to think about what your corpus is representing. So what is your research question? Perhaps that's a good place to start. And what sort of corpus you would need to put together in order to answer that question. So does my corpus contain different aspects of participants that can potentially be used to represent the larger population? And perhaps that's more of a sort of a caveat to a corpus, is that a corpus cannot necessarily tell us a lot about syntactic and lexical complexities. So we look at patterns, we look at how words are used, we look at how words change over time, but we can't necessarily look into the complexities of individual words or sentence structures. And then this is something that we'll look at together in a little bit, but having your metadata, which is all the information about your corpus, can help to further your analyses. So what this is that you're able to then sort of tease apart from your big corpus. So if you can sort by different text types, for example, if you've already organized your corpus in that way. You can tease it apart by different proficiency levels if that was relevant to you and you had already organized your corpus in that way. But we'll look at that in a little bit and why having a strong metadata can be really useful. So now I'm going to move on to a short introduction to Sketch Engine. And then essentially the second half of this workshop, I'm going to share my screen and we'll look at different functions of Sketch Engine. And hopefully that will be helpful for you to sort of begin your research journey this week. So Sketch Engine is a corpus query tool. And it is used by linguists, lexicographers, students, and teachers, for example, from all over the world. And there are already 400 plus ready to use corpora in over 90 different languages. The one sort of downside to Sketch Engine is that it is only available online, and then you will need to subscribe unless you have institutional login, which is where your institution has a subscription to Sketch Engine, which you might then have access to. But if your university does not have that, then you will need to pay roughly €6, €7 per month. This may have changed. This is what it was the last time I checked. So that's one downside of it. If you don't want to pay, then you can certainly use other free software. AntConc is really good. Lawrence Anthony is the person behind AntConc, and you will be able to find a lot of information just online. He has a really nice website that sort of explains everything and has the latest version of AntConc. So if you are interested and you don't really want to pay for a subscription, and that's an excellent option for you. The good thing about Sketch Engine is that there are a lot of different ready-made corpora for you to be able to use. Whereas AntConc, there are a few sort of corpora that you can use, but for the most part, you will need to make your own and use that for the analyses. So I'm going to stop here and then share my screen. Okay. So this is Sketch Engine. If any of you would like to follow along, you're more than welcome to. I might be going a little bit fast because I want to go through so much, but I will try to sort of go slow with the mindset that some people might be following along. But the website is sketchengine.eu. And if you can't find it, you can just search it in Google, and then you should be able to access this page. So the first thing to do is to log in. Okay, so on the top left-hand corner, just above the logo, you'll see this button here, login. You click on that, and it should take you to this page. I'm going to log out just so that everyone can see what that process looks like. Okay. Yeah, so this is what you'll see once you click on login. You will have access to a free trial version of Sketch Engine for 30 days. So you can sign up for that if you would like, or if you want to just see what the Sketch Engine, sort of the portal, the software looks like before making a purchase, which is completely understandable. So that's a great way to sort of see whether or not you find it useful. But I'm going to be logging in through institutional login. So my university has access to Sketch Engine. So if your university does, and you can try, so if you're not sure, you can just search your university. And then, so you might be able to see it. So if you're not sure, this is a good way for you to check. Okay. Oops. All right, so this is the default. But once you first log in, you might see this page first. The select corpus page. So on this page, you will need to select the language that you would like to work with, so that it can narrow down your search to corpora that in that language only. So there are, as I mentioned, a ton of different languages here. So if you want to see what sort of corpora there are, if you just click on the search panel and then go to advanced search, and this should give you oops, computer's slow. But that should give you all the list of different corpora that are available. So for the sake of this tutorial, we're going to be focusing on the use of English. So if you click on English, I had already clicked on English, so this corpus is already selected. And then we go to the dashboard, and then this is what we would see. Okay. So the dashboard is sort of like your homepage. This is sort of the touch base to your all of your searches. So if you're lost and if you don't know what you're doing, on the left-hand side, you should be able to, it's the first one here with like the different squares and like 2 rectangles and 2 squares. If you click on that, it should take you to the default, the dashboard. So we want to use the British National Corpus for the purpose of today's workshop. So here we can search BNC, and it should be the first one. And if you click on it, now we are on the British National Corpus here, as you can see, BNC. And we can begin our search. Okay. So I'm going to be going over some of the basics here. So these are all the different functions that you can use. And I'm gonna go over a few of some of the key tools that you might be able to use this week. The first one here is corpus info. So if you click on it, it gives you the information about your corpus. So if you look at the text types here, and if you don't know what these tools or the functions are, if you hover around this I or the upside down exclamation mark, it gives you some information about what that is. So text type here, for example, is another name for metadata. So metadata, remember, is what I had just mentioned. So that's where you categorize your data, your individual text within your corpus by different names. So you can categorize it by genre, for example, or names or years, and you can code it for multiple items. So one text could be tagged for a different text type, a different year, etc., names, so forth. And the neat thing about it is that you now have all these different types where you can filter out your data for. So if you want to learn about what your corpus is, so for example, how many tokens, how many words there are in your corpus, how many sentences in the BNC, paragraphs, documents, there are over 4,000 documents, and then over 1 million paragraphs, 6 million sentences, and 96 million words. And then you can sort of see what sort of part of speech that it's tagged for. I'm not gonna go over tags today. But you can look into what tags are. So tags are essentially where in your data, in each of your text, you tag individual word for a certain part of speech. So for example, you tag, say, I am a girl. Girl would be a noun, would be article, and so forth. And you have these tags where you can search for certain adjectives. So you can search for all the adjectives in the corpus, which would then give you a list of all of the adjectives within, for example, here the BNC. Not all corpora in the sketch engine have this function. So if you are looking to search for tags specifically, you might want to select a corpus that has tags. Or when you create your own corpus, you can also tag your corpus with tags, which you might be able to do. But I won't have the time to go into that, unfortunately. But just know that there is a function that you will be able to tag your data for a different part of speech. Okay, so to make search using this feature, we click on word sketch here. And you should see this bit here. So you see the basic tab, advanced, as a list and about. So we'll stick with the basic tab. And you type any lemma, so any word, into the search bar, and then you search go. So let's search something really easy. Eat, for example. And then if you click on go, you have all of these ways in which the word eat is used in the BNC. So you can view different lemmas of the word according to the different grammatical functions in the BNC. So in this page here, we're given collocations of the verb eat, right? So eat healthily, eat food, eat meat, eaten alive. Okay, so well, that's used slightly differently, right? And so forth. So you can search by, so you can see the common modifiers. You can also look at objects, phrases, subjects, and so forth. To see more common results under sort of this given category, we can click on these the three dots. And then if you click on this bit here, so the square with the arrow, it should open up a new window, which then takes you to the concordance line, and you can see all the instances in which eating healthy is used. So there are roughly 8,000 instances here. And this is sort of a good way for you to tap into how the word eat is used. So you can sort of play around with this. So this is a really cool way. You can also download it if you want to download any of this. If you click on this arrow and then the line underneath it, you can download it onto your computer and then compare, or if you want to sort of do it offline, you can do it that way. I want to go back to the advanced function here. So word sketch also has this advanced search option, which can be accessed from the starting page, so the word sketch page. So if you've gotten carried away and you don't know what you're doing, just go to the dashboard and click on word sketch and then hit advanced. So next is a basic search tab. You click on the advanced search tab to see the functions here. So the basic function was just you click on or you type the word or the lemma. With the advanced function, the interesting thing here is that now we have all of these different options. But because our corpus is tagged by different part of speech, So if you don't know what that means, you hover around the question mark, restricts the results to only one part of speech, use auto option to get results for all parts of speech. So we want to say, for example, you want to minimize your search. And we want to search how a word is used, but only in a certain part of speech. So from the part of speech tab, you can only select one, or when you search auto, it searches for all of the different part of speech. So you might get adjectives, nouns, verbs of whatever the word you type. So this is, I can show you. So if you go back to eat and we want to only see how the word eat is used as a noun, you click on noun and then you search go. Oh, nothing found. So eat is not used as a noun in my corpus. Okay, then what about as a verb? And you get all of these instances of the word eat used as a verb. Okay. Another thing that you can do is text type. So this is where the metadata comes in. You can filter out. So when you have a large corpus and you want to only search, say, for example, certain websites, right? So if I want to see how the word for, eat is used in any of these websites, this doesn't seem very interesting, but let's go to maybe genre, right? So I want to see how the word eat is used on the news. Okay. And then when you click on it, and sometimes it takes a while. Okay, so you can see these different ways in which the word eat is used on the news. So eating disorder, eating meals, diet, eating healthy. Okay, so this seems interesting, but maybe you want to compare it to how the word eat is used in blogs. Okay, so again, healthy, mindfully eating lunch, carbs, breakfast, so forth. So you can see a little bit of a difference in which how the word eat is used on the news versus the blog or blog entries that we're looking at now. So this is a good way if your data is filtered or categorized by different text types or genre, this would be a good way for you to sort of see how words and expressions are used in different contexts. Okay. Okay, so if you go back to dashboard again, we have something next to word sketch differences, and you might wonder, oh, what is this? So basically, it's like word sketch where you can search words, but you can compare two words. So if you forget, just hover around the question mark. It'll give you what it'll explain what these words mean. You should choose two words that are in the same part of speech. So that's sort of the key thing to remember. And you can see the collocational strength between words. Okay. So let's see, for example, we want to compare talk and speak. Okay, so if you type talk in the first lemma and the speak in the second lemma, and then click go, we have this nice looking table. So like the word sketch results, we're given examples of the lemmas, contextual usage. So talk, laugh, sit, walk. However, in this feature, each lemma will be denoted with their own color. So you notice that some of these are green or shades of green, and some of these are in the shades of red. So the gradient bar here, if you see how it goes from green to gray to red, at the top of the page shows which color each lemma is being represented by and their corresponding occurrences in the corpus. So the word talk is mentioned 11 million times, so nearly 12 million, where speak occurs a little bit over 12 million. So the word speak, so speak is used more frequently in the B and C as opposed to talk. So this color coding is implemented to help us differentiate between what is the most common contextual occurrences or for each lemma that we gave. So talk and speak, for example. And the darker, sort of the opaque colors of the opaque shades of the color, so the darkness of the color, kind of gives what's most contextual occurrences are or it shows the frequency or what's most frequently used for that given lemma. So talk and laugh, for example, are most commonly used, whereas English, truth, dialect, word volume are sort of more related to the word speak than talk. Okay. And then for each of these contextual tables, we're also given the number of occurrences for each of these words. So if you want to sort of look into that, you can look at the frequency here as well. So the leftmost number in a given line, so the one on the left-hand side column here, will represent the number of occurrences for the first lemma, and then the rightmost, so the right number represents the second lemma's occurrence. So texting occurs 1,754 times with talk and then 54 times with speak. So you can see that texting and talking are more sort of closely related than texting and speaking, which kind of makes sense, right? Because texting is more sort of an informal kind of a way of communicating in the same way that talk is used sort of in a more informal context versus speak, which is used more commonly in informal context. Okay, so in addition to this unique gradient feature of the function, the word sketch difference also has this visualization feature that allows you to compare the two lemmas distribution in a given context without the numbers or the tables. So if you click on this dot here and the rainbow, so it's on the top here, the far leftmost icon, kind of gives you a visual of how we have talk on one side and then speak on the outside. And then we have these entries. So walk, talk, laugh, and sit and drink. Play, stop, share, chat, texting. These are all words that are more commonly used or associated with talk than speak. And then the larger circles represent sort of the size or the number of occurrences, the frequency. So this is a good way to show which words occur more frequently with one lemma over the other. And also you can see that these words sort of hover around closer to talk than speak as well. So, oops. So if you want to test this with perhaps some of the other like seems to say object of talk and speak, trying to find something that's more interesting. Maybe going back. Maybe this one here. So speak, truth, English, dialect is more closely linked with speak than heads, point, talk, nonsense, more closely with talk. So if you're teaching and you want to show your students which words go or sort of have a close relationship, this is a good way to sort of show them, especially when you teach words that are synonymous. So talk and speak are sort of hard to explain because they sort of mean the same thing, but they're used differently. So if you want to show your students sort of the different contexts or words that are more closely linked with talk versus more closely linked with speak, this is sort of a fun and also a really good way to visualize how different words are used. Okay. All right, so with the word sketch difference advanced search, we can utilize sort of a few more different options here to narrow our search results even further. So from the start page of the word sketch difference, you click on advanced tab, and then you should see these features. We have, say, for example, so the first feature, we can adjust the comparison types. So under compare, we can compare either lemmas, word forms, a subcorpora, which is basically creating a smaller corpus off of the big corpus. So for example, the BNC corpus is huge, right? And it has all these different genres. Say you want to only compile a smaller corpus from the large BNC corpus, but only of, say, news articles, then you can create a subcorpus of the news articles from the BNC, and you can save that onto your sketch engine account and use that as your corp or your sort of analysis. I can show you that in a little bit. So the lemma option here compares the collocates of the two lemmas that we give in the text box. So we have to give them words to compare, of course. And then the word forms compares the collocation or the collocates of two different word forms that belong in the same lemma. So when we click on the option, we're given lemma text bar. So this is by default, and we enter the lemma that we want to check. So for example, go to word form. We have the word lemma, say go, and then first word form say goes, and then second word form went. And then this subcorp, and then you can search. So let's see what we get here. Taking a little bit longer than I anticipated. Then in that case, you can look at it later in your own time. Subcorpus, we don't have a subcorpus, but you can search the ones that are already here in B and C. Let's say that we want to compare genre blogs to topic cars and bikes, for example, and then you search, say, go again. Which seems to be taking long as well. So essentially you can narrow your search by selecting a small corpus from the big corpus. So remember, the big B and C corpus has all sorts of different texts and different genres and different years and so on. And if you're only interested in one specific genre, you don't want to search the entire corpus, because the entire corpus is misrepresented, right? It does not have to do with one single genre. It has to do with a lot of different genre. So you create a small subcorpus off of the big corpus containing only the information that you're interested in. And then from there, then you can then compare how certain words and expressions are used differently. So for time's sake, I will move on to some other functions. Okay. So thesaurus, as many of you know, is similar, is where you sort of observe similar meaning and behavior. So let's say that we're interested in talk. Okay, so talk and speak are closely linked. Talk and think, say here. So these are all sort of words that are similar or related to the word talk. So if you click on the three dots, for example, with speak, you can go to sketch, word sketch difference, thesaurus, concordance. So word sketch difference, remember, is where you compare the two words, right? So we just did our comparison of talk and speak, and we looked at some of the different ways in which the word talk and word speak is used. But you can do it by going to the thesaurus and typing your word. And then from there, you can go to, say, for example, word sketch difference. So if you click on the square and the arrow, it opens up a new page. And then here, it's the exact same page that we just looked at, right? We can also look at concordance lines. So here we have the word speak, the lemma of speak. So the lemma includes words like speak, speaks, spoken, speaking, all different forms of the word speak. And you see here all these different instances, ways in which the word speak is used. So this is a great way if you don't know, if you want to sort of compare, but you don't know what to compare, then you can go to thesaurus and then type in your word. Big. Okay. Large obviously is synonym. Small is antonym, so it's the opposite in meaning to big. You can then sort of look at word sketch differences. So this is a good sort of a strategy for you if you're a researcher or a teacher, or if you're a researcher, for you to sort of understand how certain words are related to one another in your corpus. If you're a teacher, a really good way to teach your learners some related words. If you're a student and you want to use the corpus for your academic writing or just to learn English or a language, this is a good way for you to learn related words and expressions. So that's thesaurus. Concordance is my favorite function of all time. And we have looked at a few concordance lines together. So the concordance feature on Sketch Engine, what it does is it allows you to see a keyword in a given context. So the key here is that you see things in context. So to perform a concordance search, you click on concordance button from the dashboard page. Again, you go to the dashboard. Concordance is the fourth sort of, or the second or rectangle from the top. And you click on concordance and it takes you to this page here. So default is basic. So here you search any simple search. Okay, so we are interested in talk because that's what we've been talking about. Okay. So a simple search is for any and all instances of the word talk. So you see here, it's got 304, so it's got 21 million words in this or lines instances of the word talk, which is a lot, right? So if you're filtering through, if you're going through each one of these, it's a lot of information. But perhaps you're not just interested in the word talk, but you're more specific. You have more information for what you're looking for. In which case you go to the advanced tab. And you can search it by different part of speech, but you can also search it by different text types here. So if you click on this arrow, you can search it by different domains. So .com, .org, .uk, .net. You also have the option to search certain websites. You can also search for specific web page domains that you may already have a mind on what you might want to look for. You can also search for different titles, different sources. You can also search by different topics, Wikipedia page, and genre. So say that we're interested in how, let's change up the word a little bit. Happy is used on the news. Okay. So we have happy to share, happy ending, happy that I get to, happy to promote, happy. So we have, say, 235,000 instances of the word happy occurring in the news. Perhaps if we search for blogs, we have a little bit fewer, 241,000. And then you have different instances of happy. But if you search everything, so just happy. Oh. We get 7 million instances, right? So you notice that we get a lot more, a larger amount of results in concordance lines if you search the entire corpus. So if you are interested in all 7 million instances, that's absolutely fine, and you can go through every single one of them. However, if you are sure about or you have specific requests, or if you know what it is that you're looking for, so specific genre, years, for example, it's always good to use text type. That way you have a lot fewer concordance lines to work with. Okay. So now moving on to the advanced search option. So the interesting thing about the advanced search option here for concordance sign is that there are so many things that you can do with it. So to narrow our concordance line search even further, you can switch to the advanced search tab, which is just next to the basic tab. So if you just search or click on advanced, it should take you to this feature. So just underneath the title concordance here, you'll find the tab for basic and advanced search. And then on the left-hand side of the screen, we're given this query type list. So if you click on here, oh, excuse me. You have here all these different sort of options. It gives you an explanation of what each of these are. So you can look this up yourself later on. But basically, the simple option is the same as the basic tab search results. So it's basically searches for everything. So remember, when we search for the word talk, it gave you instances of the word talk used as a noun, used as verbs, and everything and anything in between, which is why we had a ton of results, right? And that's what the simple tab does. So if you just put simple, or by default is the query type is simple, you just search the word, it'll give you everything, which is exactly the same as the basic function. The lemma option, it returns results from all word forms of the word in the search bar. So the phrase option, so different part of speech, for example. The phrase option allows the users to find multi-word phrases. So this is where you can type multiple words, but you can also search for multiple words in the word search as well. So you can type phrases and longer sentence or even sentences if you would like. But remember that you're going to get smaller results if you type an entire paragraph worth of something, and then if that specific paragraph isn't in the corpus, then it will show as no results. But you can certainly search for multi-word phrases or phrasal verbs or anything that you might be interested in. So this phrase option allows the users to find, again, the multi-word phrases. No lemmas are considered for any of the words in this option, which basically means that it'll give you the exact the search that you search for. So for example, say that we're interested in eating healthy. Okay, so you get all these instances of eating and healthy. So eating healthy food, right? Eating healthy meals, eating healthy snacks, eating healthy on a budget, eating healthy skincare, eating healthy food, right? So you can see all these different instances of eating healthy. But remember, again, we're now searching for the entire corpus. I haven't selected any text type, so you'll be getting a ton of results. So here we have 22,000 results. Okay. So the word option here underneath phrase, what this does is it searches for a word form as is input into the search bar with no alternative lemmas considered. So again, you pick, for example, part of speech, or if you don't have a preference for what part of speech you're looking for, then you can just leave it any. But if you are particular about certain part of speech, for example, pronouns or verbs, then you can search, you can type your word here or your phrase, and then you click on what the part of speech you want to search it for. So remember I talked about tagging earlier, right? Where you can tag your corpus. When you put together your corpus, you can tag it. You can tag individual words in the text with a part of speech. You can do it automatically. But what that does is that allows you to filter your data by different part of speech because that information is already there. So a corpus, essentially, you have to in whatever form you want to search it for, you have to make sure that that's included in the corpus that you have. So for example, if you are interested in looking at different parts of speech, for example, of how certain words and expressions are used, and you want to be able to filter your data in that way, then you will need to make sure that you have that information in your corpus. You cannot, it won't be able to search for it unless you've already input that data. In the same way that for the metadata, the reason why I said the more information you have, the better, but that's because you then will be able to search it by whatever information that you had categorized your text in. So it could be by different genres again, etc. and etc. So that's where it gets really interesting. But again, that also depends on your research question and whether or not you need those functions in order to understand or to be able to answer your research questions. So tagging your corpus might not necessarily be important for you, because if you're not interested in searching your results by different part of speech, or if you have a smaller corpus that doesn't really need that function, then you don't need to do it. However, if you do feel that you would benefit from doing so, then you would want to make sure that you search or you categorize or you tag your data with part of speech. Moving on to the character here. So the character option searches for tokens that contain a specific character or group of characters as typed in the search bar. So I'm not going to go over this. I don't really use this function myself, but if you are interested, you can sort of look into that. CQL option is interesting, and it's what allows the users to make searches with the corpus query language, which is what CQL is. Okay. This is used for more complex searches regarding, say, for example, lexical structures and grammatical formations. So if you're interested in sort of looking beyond individual words or specific phrases, maybe you want to search for verbs and anything and everything that comes after a verb, for example. This would be a really good function. It does take a lot of work, and it is pretty daunting because you're using basically all sorts of brackets and quotation marks and asterisks and periods. And it does seem quite technical. And I suppose it is in a sense. However, it is a really nice way for you to be able to conduct more complex analysis. But for the purpose of our session, I do want to sort of just keep it basic. But if you are interested in learning more about CQL, Sketch Engine also has these nice videos. These are YouTube videos, so anyone should have access to them that you can watch and try to sort of play around with it. Okay. Okay. Again, you have the text types here, where you can search for different subcorpus. We don't have any subcorpus because I didn't make one. But you can search for some of the pre-existing ones. So for example, you can search any of your findings by any of these topics, or you can create your own corpus.
Oh.
Okay, so for example, you can click on, say, subcorpus from text type. So you can name your corpus. So for example, you name your corpus and then you can designate. So I want to create a small corpus consisting of education and fiction. Okay. And then when you save it, the nice thing about this function is that I now have my corpus here. So I created July 22nd. So when I click on this subcorpus, now I don't have to go and click on these individual text types again because the subcorpus is already narrowed down. So if you're running multiple analysis with multiple text types and you don't want to run into sort of having to search over and over and over again, you might consider creating a subcorpus where you'll be able to then run multiple searches without having to re-click text types with every single entry. So this is a really nice way for you to be able to sort of work around having to do extra work. Or you can, so for B and C, there are preloaded subcorpora here that I didn't create myself, but are there for you to be able to use. So if you know what these are and you're able to use them, then that's good. But if you've already created your own, the nice thing with this is that you can also, so the subcorpora, whatever I create, will then allow me to use it for different sort of corpora as well. So say that we're on B and C right now, but say that I'm interested in the British academic written corpus here, and I want to search a word, and you click on any of these subcorpora, then it'll take you to that as well. Okay, so next we're going to go to word list. Okay, so the word list function, what it does is it allows the users to view the frequency of a given word, a given lemma, verbs, adjectives, conjunctions in the corpus. So I want to go back to the British National Corpus. Okay. So to use this function, you click on word list button again on the dashboard, and then you'll have this page here. So to see the most frequently used word or words in the B and C, we select just words. In the first sort of the scroll down menu here, and then we just leave it at all in the second scroll down menu, and then just click go. And let's see where this takes us. Okay. So here we have our word list. And we see the most frequently used words according to the frequency. So we have so this corpus has, you see the comma and period are among the top, which you can obviously guess. But these aren't necessarily words, they're punctuations, but Sketch Engine treats punctuations as words as well. So you do want to use it with your own discretion. And then you sort of scroll down. As you can imagine, all of these words are function words. So function words tend to be the most frequently used. And then if you want to see more results, you can search it for the first 500 instances. And then as you scroll down, you'll see more sort of topic specific words. So start to see words like system, though, during, around, small, and etc. and etc. So you can find the ranking, so the frequency ranking in this chart. So these are all ranks here along the total frequency of the word within the corpus. So the default number of corpus again per page is 50, but you can adjust it to bigger if you want to see more entries. But we are getting a whole lot of words. Just searching everything here is way too much. And it takes a long time because this is a large corpus, right? So what we're interested in doing instead is where we want to narrow down our search a little bit. Okay. So let's say that we're now interested in words that start with, let's put a prefix. Pre. Okay. Okay. So here we have all the words that starts with pre. Unfortunately, some of these words aren't prefixes. So present, president, all of these are not prefixes. However, this now gives us a result for all the words that start with pre. So this reduces the number of our total frequency here. So we've got 279,000 instead of our mega large, was it 12 million words? So let's say that we want to narrow our search. Okay, so we've got more options here to choose from. So we can also use this additional, all of these additional functions provided under the advanced search tab. So similar to the concordance advanced search, we can use the first list of options from the left to show that the results from our search only pertains to certain criteria. So you can narrow down your search. So again, word searches for everything. So if you know what you're searching for, then you probably want to narrow it down a bit further. You can only select one option. Again, I can't search for both a lemma and an adjective. So you do have to be kind of selective here for what you search for. But let's say that, for example, we're interested in searching for words that start with TH. Okay, so words, okay, TH, starting with on the second list here. You can add multiple criteria. So you want words that start with TH, and so forth, but we'll leave it at that for now. We can also maybe give it a criteria then. Say that we want to find all the words that end with ION. Okay. And then you can add even more criteria. But something to bear in mind is that when you have too many criteria, that limits your search, right? So we already have two criteria. So we want words that start with TH and words that end with ION. And that already probably reduces the amount of words that we'll see tremendously, if any. And then you can also exclude certain words. So I want all the words that start with TH and all the words that end with ION, but I don't want certain words. Okay, then you can type those here. Okay. Or you also want to include non-words. And you might wonder, what are non-words? So we'll leave it at that for now. This option is nice. So Sketch Engine treats capitalizations as two entries. So if you have words that start with a capitalized letter and then a word that starts with a lowercase, they're treated as two different entries. Sometimes you want to leave them as two different entries because you're interested in whether or not certain words and expressions are used as the starter of the sentence, at the beginning of the sentence, as versus in the middle of the sentence. But if that's not the case and you just want to search for everything, then you can click on this and they're all shown as one single entry. Okay. All right, let's see if this gives us anything. Okay. So here we have words that start with TH and words that end with ION. So these words all fit that criteria. There are 8 items that are used a total of 80 times. So this is if you have specific words, you can then keep adding on the criteria and it'll give you a list of words. Okay. N-grams. So N-grams is an interface that takes you to go to a page where you have to specify the length of your grams, your N-grams. So by default, right, you're at 3 to 4 length of words. So N-grams are basically a group of words that are commonly used together. So collocations are words that sort of are related to each other, right? But N-grams are words that are sort of right next to each other. So sometimes, for example, if you want to see what sort of 3 to 4 word sequences are mostly commonly used, and you don't really know of any specific collocations or chunks or word phrases that you might want to look for, you can then just search any 3 to 4 word chunks in the corpus, and it'll give you a list of all the words. So it can include collocations. It might include idiomatic expressions. It might just be some word sort of sequences, and so forth. So here I don't, but don't is a contraction, so I do not is technically 3 words, one of the end of as well as. So this is a really great way for you to sort of take a bottom-up approach of identifying or looking for what sort of words and expressions there are, and then working your way there from there on whether or not there are any sort of phrases or collocations or multi-word expressions that are commonly used in the corpus. So this feature allows you to view sort of the most common N-grams in your selected corpus, and that you can control it by controlling the N-gram length in the options. So we search for 3 to 4, but you can actually narrow it to just 3. But if you want to say look for just 6 word sequences, and then you click on go. And then you get all of these instances, and sometimes you get these silly entries. So for example, this M. Okay, so if you look at it, this is interesting, but I didn't make this corpus, obviously, so I have no idea. But you can sort of, based on this, understand why that might be the most commonly used. feature. Okay. Oh, something is not working up. Let me reshare my screen. Okay. So maybe we want to go back to the engrams here. Okay. So the maximum here is 6 word sequences and the minimum is 2 words, right? So engram, because we're looking at chunks, right? Word sequences, word lengths, you have to select between 2 to 6. So you can search individually. So you can click on these individual numbers. But if you want to search, say, from 3 to 5, then you can click 3 to 3 and then 5, or 5 and then 3, and then it should give you all the instances between 3, 4, and 5 lengths. Okay. Now, of course, there's the advanced search function. We can narrow our search results even further. From the ngram starting page, you go to the advanced search tab, and then you have all of these additional options. So just like the basic tab, you can adjust your ngram length to see that you want to see in your results. You can adjust it to any sort of the sequence or the length that you wish to. And then underneath this, we have the attribute option, and that allows you to select the type of words that you want to see in your result. So do you want to see words or lemmas, tags, or lampposts? And you can simply click the drop-down menu to view these options, and then you click on the word type that you want to see results for. And then next to it, we have seen most of these. So do you want to include non-words, right? Do you also want to not discriminate uppercase and lowercase? You can also exclude certain words. So you want to see 2, say 3 to 4 length sequences, but you don't want to see certain words included, then you can exclude those. You can also exclude multiple words. So I don't want to see instances with the word happy in it. And then you keep typing them. I also don't want to see instances of talk and speak and so forth. And you can add that as many as you need. But there's something new here. Nest engrams. So when we don't have this checked, this option takes engrams that are part of a larger engrams and groups them together with sort of the larger engrams. So what this does is this is a really good feature to check off if you want to avoid identical engrams that already exist. So if you want to see, say, for example, there are 2 word sequences, 3 word sequences, 4 word sequences, and the most commonly used engram of a two word sequence is sort of a smaller version of the 4 and the 5 and the 6 word sequence. When you nest it, they all just become one single entry. So this is a really good way to sort of clean up your engram results, especially if you're working with larger data. You don't have to search or check this, but if you are interested, you can keep it checked. And then like other advanced search options that we've looked at, there's the frequency minimum. So the number of instances or the minimum number of instances that you want to see in your search engine. So I want all the entries to have a minimum of 5 occurrences. Frequency maximum, you can also sort of adjust that to specify the minimum and maximum frequencies, a word that has to occur. Next to this is the subcorpora option here that you can select. So remember, in the BNC, I created my subcorpus, which should appear here, but it's not appearing here. But you can also search for different eras. So for example, 1960 to 1974, 1975 to 1984, 85 to 93, and so forth. So, and you can also search for written academic, written domain, etc., and etc. So let's just select written academic. And then below the frequency minimum and frequency maximum, you have this option here to check key engrams, which when you check it, it identifies collocations that are typical of the focus corpus compared to the reference corpus. So we don't have a reference corpus, but remember the reference corpus is what you compare your corpus to. So BNC is actually a large corpus, and it's a common reference corpus for a lot of the smaller corpora that people use or make on their own. They compare it against the BNC to sort of look for patterns in which, for example, if you are working with a corpus created for language learners, you might want to understand how language used by your learners differ from L1 English speakers, people who speak English, or advanced speakers of English, for example. This is a really good way to look into it. Okay. Okay. So let's just click go and see what we get here. Okay. So, we get in written academic portion of the BNC. The most commonly used 3 to 4 gram n-gram sequences are words like part of the, in terms of, as well as one of the fact that, percent of, etc., and etc. Okay. And then again, if you want to see, for example, how the word a number of is used, then you click on the 3 dots and then concordance, and then you have all the instances of a number of here that you can look at. So this is a really good way to tap into how certain words and expressions are used without sort of discriminating for specific collocations. You can search for any 3 to 4 word chunks. And of course you get things like is that duh, which doesn't mean a whole lot, right? But then you also get really useful and nice findings like a number of. Okay, so a number of is a commonly used expression in written academic essays, for example. So this is a really nice and sort of a useful, informed way of teaching your students what sort of academic discourse, or what are some of the most common academic discourse. And you can also do the same for, say, if you have the BNC spoken corpus, you can run the same sort of a parallel analysis, and then you can compare what the discourse if there are any differences in spoken and written text, and if so, what sort of differences there are. And we can show that using numbers. Okay, so just a few more. So keywords here. So the keywords function allows the users to compare two different corpora to find any sort of unique and common traits between two words or two terms or n-grams given in a search. So to do so, again, we go back to the dashboard and we click on keywords, and you'll find this daunting message here, right? You'll be brought to a page that explains the feature. And then you basically just click, I know what I'm doing, go button at the bottom of the explanation, and then you have this page. So by default, in this function, it compares the current corpus that you're using. So for us, it's the BNC to another related corpus. So in our case, we're now comparing our findings with the English Web 2021, so N101021. So this is essentially a reference corpus that we're using to compare with. So this reference corpus will be listed next to or underneath single words and multi-word terms. So you see here what the reference corpus is. When you click on these both two-way arrows, it swaps. So now you see the BNC underneath and then the English Web in 10.10.21. But we're going to go back for now. Okay, so by default, we're looking at single word tab, right? So what this does is it shows the 50 most common words between the two corpora being compared. So the 50 most common words between BNC and N1010. If you look at multi-word terms, you can view the most common two-word clusters. So we're only looking at two-word clusters shared between two corpora. So if you go back to the single tab here, we see words like videotape in it. So interjections, yeah, ooh, all right, and then names of places and so forth. When we look at the multi-word terms, we see a bit more here, right? Subject area, county council, community charge, national curriculum, the words that you might expect to see on the news. So the results of the search will vary depending on which corpus is designated as the reference corpora. So let's see if we can change. So let's say we change this to the BAWE, the British Academic Written English Corpus. Okay, and then And then anyway, and then you'll see that the findings are a little bit different. So you can swap out. So here, instead of all those place names and interjections, we now see words like Americans, Obama, COVID, iPhone. So these are more sort of the general terms, and not necessarily terms of places other than Americans. And so forth. So do play around with it. By default, the reference corpus is English 1010. So again, if you think that you would want to swap it out for a different reference corpus, then you can do so. And then you can then compare your findings to see if there are any differences. Okay, so we are going to go to the advanced tab here. And the advanced tab here, it allows us to adjust a lot more, or maybe not a lot more, but a few more things from our search. So on the starting page of keywords, we have now come to the advanced search tab next to the basic search tab. And then at the top left of the advanced search page, there are the corpus options. So we have the focus corpus, which we select as part of our main corpus. So that's the corpus that will select and be displayed in the search bar at the top of the screen. And then if you want to compare it to a reference corpus, then you can look at, you can type that out as well. So here, say that we want to look at, let's look at spoken transcript this time. And then again, we can swap out our reference corpus for anything. Let's say that we're interested in, because we've selected our language as English, all of these corpora are English corpora, so you don't have to worry about it being a different language. Let's compare it to the base corpus, which is the British Academic Spoken English corpus, because we're comparing it to the spoken transcripts of the BNC. And then the reference subcorpus, it allows us to select which part of the reference corpus we would like to compare to the main corpus. So remember, based on our corpus here, our focus corpus, BNC, we then selected the focus subcorpus, which is a spoken transcript of the BNC. And then we can do the same for the reference corpus. So we've changed our reference corpus to the British Academic Spoken Corpus. And then from here, we can select a subcorpus. So arts and humanities, life and medical sciences, physical sciences, lectures, linguistic seminars, social sciences, and for the purpose of our reference corpus, we'll leave it here. And then to the right of the corpus option, there are the frequency options. So the focus on option is a sliding bar, okay? Between rare and common, meaning that if we slide the bar closer to one side over the other, we will receive more results that are more frequent, which is common, or less frequent, which is rare. So if the bar, right now by default, our bar is closer to rare, right? So we are going to get more results that are less frequent in our case. But if you don't want that, then you can slide it and so forth, okay? But we'll just leave it at default here. Okay, maybe we'll look at this much. Okay, So we can also adjust the minimum and maximum frequency a word must have to be considered on the list with the minimum frequency. So if you want all of your words to occur at least, say, a minimum of 10, and then maximum, we won't set the maximum because we want to see what the most frequent word or expression is. And then maximum items. So what the maximum items option does here is it allows us to adjust how many keywords to be extracted for results. So by default, we're looking at 1,000. But you can change that as you wish. And then to the right, we have some general options that we saw in the advanced search tab, I believe, of the word list feature as well. So these options can be checked off or on, whether we want to first, if you want to treat uppercase and lower cases the same, then yes. Include results with one or more alphanumeric characters, so at least one alphanumeric, then check. If you want to only include alphanumeric results, then you want to check that. And then if you also want to include non-words, again, if you're not sure what non-words are, if you hover around the question mark, there's a link here that takes you to what non-words are. And you can look into that later on. But for the purpose of our analysis, we'll just leave it as is by default. But you can also exclude certain words. And you can also include certain words that we want to show up on the corpus if it exists in the main corpus. So again, in the same way that you exclude some words, if you want to make sure that you get entries for words that show up a certain or certain words that show up in the corpus, then you can also include that here. And then we have on the bottom here, we have a few more options. So we have a lot of options for keywords. So here, we have identify keywords, which allows us to change the type of words that we receive as results. So do we want to see lemmas? Do we want the results to be tags, which then will just be verbs, adjectives, nouns, so forth. So maybe I'll do this just so that you can see what tags look like. You can search for different words and so forth. So we'll leave it. At that. And then the matching regex regular expression text bar, which allows the users to retrieve information and results that match the user's typed regex. So we'll just leave this as is for now. But again, there are a lot of resources on how to use regular expressions for Sketch Engine. You can also search on Sketch Engine, and I should give you some more information. But for sake of time, now I only have about 10 minutes left. We'll just leave this as is for now. And then next here we have identify terms. Okay, and it gives the users the ability to use regular expressions to return results. Again, this has to do with regular results, so we'll leave these as is for now. And then we have to the far right, identify n-gram. So right now it's not checked, so we don't have any options to change things around, but you can check it, which then gives you the option. So what the n-gram settings does is it allows the users to retrieve n-grams or common clusters of words given our criteria. So we can adjust the type of words. So again, in the same way, we can, under the drop-down menu, we have words, lemmas, tags, lempos, words lowercase, and so forth. You can select and then adjust the type of words as well. But we'll leave this unchecked. And of course, you can adjust the length of your n-grams as well. And then last but not least, we have, again, text types. So if you want to filter out your data for any of the text types, you can do so. But we can't. We'll just leave this as is for now. And then we search go. Okay. All right, so remember what we did this time was we looked at tags, right? So you'll notice that these don't really mean much. What do these tags mean, right? So again, these tags depend on, for example, we're looking at the BNC, right? So this depends on what the tagging is used for the BNC. But let's look at something simple. VV, which is verbs. So click on the concordance lines. And then you get all of the entries that are tagged for VV, which is verb. And you'll notice that all of these entries are verbs. So this is a really good, so if your corpus is tagged for a certain part of speech, then you'll be able to see what is the most commonly used part of speech in the spoken transcripts of the BNC when compared with the British academic spoken corpus. And then we have the multi-word terms. We have things like, oh God, I don't know. And sort of you kind of see that some of the most commonly used multi-word terms are words and expressions that are most common in spoken discourse, right? You wouldn't be able to find this if you were to change all of our options to written transcript. But just to kind of make things a little bit easier for all of us, we'll go back and change this to words. And then instead of tags, we now see individual words, right? So we have these fillers, right? Right? And then we have words. And then so right now we only see 50 entries per page. But you can certainly make this bigger. And then you notice that there are a lot more here. Okay, so one more thing. So we now are comparing against the British Academic Spoken English corpus. Okay, so but remember we can change this up. Let's compare to a written corpus. So we'll go to the British Academic Written English corpus, and then we'll see if the results are still the same. Okay, so more or less, right? We have some fillers. I know why. Okay, we're still only looking at spoken transcript. So we'll go to written transcript. And then we see a drastically different results here, right? So all those fillers and I don't know, or there's this sort of spoken discourse is not present here because we're now looking at written academic discourse. So if your research pertains to perhaps comparing spoken discourse and written discourse, this might be a really good sort of a segue for you to see how, how students, for example, use language differently in the spoken context versus in the written context. And this would also be a really useful tool for your learners, especially English learners who are sort of having a hard time distinguishing the difference between spoken and written discourse. Okay, I did realize that there are maybe there were some questions. So I will go to that. Okay. Does keyword analysis provide choices of significant values? Oh, you mean like statistical values? No, it does not. So if you are looking to conduct any sort of statistics, my suggestion would be to download the frequency, the raw frequencies, and also whatever it is that you're trying to do. And then you can feed it to, for example, SPSS or R to calculate sort of significance p-values or Cohen's d and any sort of values that require statistical knowledge. Sketch engine and corpus software, for the most part, some might, don't provide this sort of statistical sort of findings. Okay. Right. So again, you do get a 30-day trial. So if you are new to Sketch Engine and you're not sure whether or not you want to make the commitment to a full subscription, and your university does not have institution access, then my suggestion is to try the 30-day trial. It's completely free. You can explore a lot of different options. So that's a really good way for you to explore. And if you are working on a project or research that does require for you to be able to use Sketch Engine, by all means, you can sign up for an account. You can also sign up for a multi-user account where if you want to share. Yeah, I don't think you can share that with colleagues, but you might be able to talk to your institution to see if they would be able to purchase a commercial sort of a login and to be shared by your university, and also for you to be able to share with your students. And one thing that I want to end on is that Sketch Engine offers a lot of these mini videos throughout. So when you click on, on dashboard, if you click on these entries, word sketch, for example, you might see like a little video on the side, like a YouTube video that gives you some information. I know what I've gone through is a lot of information, especially for you to be able to understand how to use Sketch Engine. So please don't worry if you don't understand or if you didn't pick up everything. But if you are lost and you don't know how to navigate, if you want to sort of get a refresher, then you can watch those videos. They are very helpful. And I think that's just about all the time that I have. So I'll be passing over to the host. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Joyce Lim, for the very insightful and engaging session. But unfortunately, everyone, our time is up right now. And should you have further questions, you may contact Dr. Lim personally through her social media and through email, probably. And let's give a round of applause for Dr. Joyce Lim, everyone. Thank you very much, Dr. Lim. All right.
Note that we have distributed the attendance list for the session. If you have not marked down your attendance, please do so. We will let the form open for a few more minutes. If you wish to obtain the materials from today, please check the Dipscorling Google Drive. Dr. Joyce Lim's materials will be uploaded in there.
Yes, and if you still have any questions for our keynote speaker, or if there's any question left unanswered, you can let us know and we will forward your question to our keynote speaker. Alternatively, you can also email our keynote speaker directly. The email is present in the CV.
As for tomorrow's session, we will be joined by Dr. Niall Curry from Manchester Metropolitan University, bringing the topic of corpus query techniques. Make sure to join before 3 p.m. Jakarta time tomorrow to avoid a Zoom admission crowd. Thank you, everyone.
See you
See you
tomorrow.
Thank you, Joyce. Thank you, everyone.
Let's dive in. Corpus linguistics, where we all begin. Summer course knowledge to explore. Unlocking language and so much more. Dipscorling 2024. Together we learn, together we soar. From there to insights, join the ride. In a world of words, let's take a stride. Dipscorling, it's our time. Let's make discoveries word by word, line by line. Welcome to Dipscorling, let's dive in. Corpus linguistics, where we all begin. Summer course, knowledge to explore. Unlocking language and so much more. Dipscorling 2024. Together we learn, together we soar. From data to insights, join the ride. In a world of words, let's take a stride. Dipscorling 2020 tour. Together we learn, together we soar. From data to insights, join the ride. In a world of words, let's take a stride. Dipscorling, it's our time. Let's make discoveries word by word, line by line. Dipscorling, it's our time. Let's make discoveries word by word, line by line. Welcome to Dipscorling, let's dive in. Corpus linguistics, where we all begin. Summer course knowledge to explore. Unlocking language and so much more. Dipscorling 2024. Together we learn, together we soar. From there to insights, join the ride. In a world of words, let's take a stride. Dipscorling, it's our time. Let's make discoveries word by word, line by line. Welcome to Dipscorling, let's dive in. Corpus linguistics, where we all begin. Summer course, knowledge to explore. Unlocking language and so much more. Dipscorling 2024. Together we learn, together we soar. From data to insights, join the ride. In a world of words, let's take a stride. Dipscorling 2020 tour. Together we learn, together we soar. From data to insights, join the ride. In a world of words, let's take a stride. Dipscorling, it's our time. Let's make discoveries word by word, line by line. Dipscorling, it's our time. Let's make discoveries word by word, line by line. Welcome to Dipscorling, let's dive in. Corpus linguistics, where we all begin. Summer course knowledge to explore. Unlocking language and so much more. Dipscorling 2024. Together we learn, together we soar. linguistics where we all begin. Summer course, knowledge to explore, unlocking language and so much more. Dipscorling 2024. Together we learn, together we soar. From data to insights, join the ride. In a world of words, let's take a stride. Dipscorling 2024. Together we learn, together we soar. From data to insights, join the ride. In a world of words, let's take a stride. Dipscorling, it's our time. Let's make discoveries word by word, line by line. Dipscorling, it's our time. Let's make discoveries word by word, line by line. Welcome to Dipscorling, let's dive in. Corpus linguistics where we all begin. Summer course, knowledge to explore, unlocking language and so much more. Dipscorling 2024. Together we learn, together we soar. From data to insights, join the ride. In a world of words, let's take a stride. Dipscorling, it's our time. Let's make discoveries word by word, line by line. Welcome to Dipscorling, let's dive in. Corpus linguistics where we all begin. Summer course, knowledge to explore, unlocking language and so much more. Dipscorling 2024. Together we learn, together we soar. From data to